Borough of Bloomingdale, Tuesday, February 4th, 2020. If everyone could please rise to salute our nation's flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Make sure your microphones are on, please. Roll call, please.
Mayor Dunleavy?
Here.
Councilman D'Amato?
Here.
Del Ripa?
Here.
Hudson?
Here.
Julian?
Here.
Sonnemeyer?
Here.
Yazzie?
Here.
Also with us, our municipal clerk, Brianna Calabro, and Borough Attorney Fred Semrau. This meeting is called pursuant to the provisions of the Open Public Meetings Law. An adequate notice of this meeting was advertised in the Herald News on December 23rd and January 8th. Copies were provided to local news media and posted here at Borough Hall. We have no presentations. We have no early executive session. We do have two non-agenda items. The first is a resolution. I'll ask for a motion to appoint Marco Iglesia to the Board of Health. And number two, a motion to accept the resignation of Ian Hogan from the DPW. He received a job elsewhere, and effective February 13th, as well as a motion to include authorization to advertise and seek his replacement. Those are non-agenda items.
Can we just move them to consent agenda since?
They're non-agenda, so the public really should have the opportunity to speak to them. Non-agenda, so I guess technically you could, but we've always put it back at the end of the meeting because the public comment is before that. So,
Okay.
I don't know. That's a good question, though. Could you technically do that? Could you?
If it's simple stuff like that we'll never go
Yeah,
into.
I just think we...
Consent agendas for items that don't warrant council discussion.
All right, so we're going to leave it like we've been doing it, because we always give public the opportunity to speak to it. Okay, moving along. Motion for early public comment.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone wishing to speak to an agenda item? Seeing no one, nodding his head negative. Motion to close public comment.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Reports. First, Fred, do you have anything for us?
Mayor, the only thing I would add is we have we had a public land sale. We have a closing scheduled for tomorrow. It's time is of the essence, so either we'll close and bring the matter to a conclusion, or there'll be a breach of contract and we'll put the property back out for sale. So hopefully there'll be revenue for the borough tomorrow.
Okay.
That's my.
Great, thank you. Bree, do you have anything for us?
I just want to, I emailed the council about a stormwater permit requirement. I do need everyone to comply with that. I've been working with the engineer on that.
Right.
So I just need to, I'll have something for everybody to sign the next meeting. If you could just,
Yeah, that email just went out.
yeah, I only just sent it.
I think at our last three meetings, we talked about the new unfunded mandates from the DEP on stormwater. So there's a lot we need to do. Matter of fact, we have a meeting tomorrow at 2 p.m. with our engineer, DPW, myself, and Bree to just go over the checklist and keep that work moving along. Governing body, anyone have any question or report for us at this time?
Board of Health, happy to say Marco's coming on board, which is great. They have a healthy eating class this weekend, which is Saturday after the boot camp. And they're working on some other classes for the new year.
Yes, I attended their meeting last night because we wanted to introduce Pequannock's new township manager, Adam Brewer, along with the fact that Pete Corelli is retiring in May. So it was nice they could put a face with a name, a face to a name of Adam, their township manager. So.
Did you know how long Pete has worked for the township?
46 years.
Almost 50 years.
46 years.
It's amazing.
It is crazy. Anyone else have anything?
If anybody like to attend, you're more than welcome, as long as there's not too many of us.
Great. Try to get me a date as soon as you can because we have one thing left to do. We're going to redo the base of the monuments, which could occur during an event, but I'd rather have it clean, and I can't just commit to a date on the basis based on temperatures, so
It's, my goal is to have it beginning of May.
Okay,
This way the spring opens it up and
that's fine. Just look at public events
Yeah.
calendar, because you have cleanup day, one of those days. Otherwise, I think May's pretty open, other than the Saturday before Mother's Day is cleanup day. But the public events you've all been copied on. Anyone else have any? I'm pleased to report we had 100% wellness participation from our staff in 2019. I've just emailed out the invitations for 2020 wellness program. The addition to this year's program is required a dental exam, and also skin cancer screening will be part of the employee wellness program in 2020. Number two, still developing capital project, to propose to the council and the budget committee. But I just want the council to know, these are the projects with grant money that we need to bring to conclusion in 2020. Bogue Pond basketball court, that's from 18 money that has to be done now. It should have been done in 19. Tennis court is 19 money to be done in 20. Union Ave sidewalks is community development money. That's sidewalks from Main Street to Oak Street, both sides. Hamilton Ave, we received a grant. And I just want to make it clear that Andrews, which we received the grant, but not until November, will be a 2021 project. That in itself is a $1.5 million project. So that will be a 2021 project. And finally, as you know, we received community grant money and DOT money, and we rebuilt and repaved Leary Ave. Well, we have some sidewalk failures. We spent a few dollars testing the concrete, and the reports came back that there was an inferior concrete mix. Fred, I just emailed you the performance bond.
Yes.
And just to give us some guidance on dealing with contractors, because those sidewalks need to be replaced
Okay.
on their dime, not ours. So, John, you were copied on the email from the engineer on that. So the results just came back today. So sad, but again, we need to fix that. So that's all I have at this time.
John, just two things. if I
Yes,
may?
sir.
So I did meet with Al Gallagher and Rocco last week over at Walter T.
Yep.
We took a walk, looked at the proposal for the batting cages
Yep.
on the third base side. It's going to be a bigger project if we do 2 cages, so we're just gathering information now on costs. They're working on cubic yardage for concrete,
Sure.
and I'm working on the batting cage itself.
Yeah.
And hopefully in the next week or two, or before the next meeting, we'll have a number or a ballpark of what it would cost.
I just need a
to
ballpark, because whether the Rose Fund can swing it or we got to do a little capital on it.
Yeah.
Or I reach out for a donation from someone who deals with a lot of concrete.
Exclude concrete, 2 tunnels, 2 cages, anywhere from $6,000 to $12,000.
Yeah, it's not going to be too crazy.
So it's not right. I just don't know the cost of concrete, but I know perhaps there's alternative ways to get concrete and
Yeah.
donations.
That's
and
what we need to
people
know.
will Support us. So.
Yeah, thank you very much.
give me the length and the width. I got an app I can put it in. It'll tell you
Okay.
what you need.
Most
Then
of
you
the
can see what's good.
Plus, there's electrical work.
most of the netting, the way they're sold, it's 35 feet, 55 feet, 70.
Right.
We were originally proposing a 500, I said square foot, but cubic square foot pad, but maybe a little bit bigger based on the cage.
I sent you the link of BSN Sports, right? That's the vendor we use.
Okay.
Their co-op pricing, and the price you see on their website, we're discounted drastically from that price.
Yeah.
I have a new rep there. I'll send you her email. You can deal directly with her. So,
All right,
good.
And
Thank
then
you.
Last thing is Rose has their first scheduled meeting on the 13th of Feb.
Yep.
And
At
then
7:30.
7:30 here, so I'll be at that meeting and then be able to report back at our
Wonderful.
next council meeting.
Thank you very
That's
much.
Are we going to meet on the 17th for the email you sent out today? Maintenance? Since you're talking about fuel?
I don't know a date yet. That was a date Drew put out. I haven't heard from you.
I just said that week,
That week is good.
anytime in the morning is
Yeah.
really is good.
We'll meet. I just got to see what the other guys'
In the
availability is.
morning I'm available. So just,
All right, we'll put that together. All right, anyone else? Moving along, item 10, resolution. I need a motion for 2020 2.1 through 2.6. Who makes that motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
We're talking about item E. The
Yes.
Recycling flyer, the resolution, that's.
Correct.
Making that law now, that's what.
Well,
what that-
exactly. The ordinance, and I'm still working on the entire ordinance, more so from recycling side of things, because the garbage issues is clearly defined in our solid waste ordinance. But our solid waste ordinance says that the governing body has the ability by resolution to set the standards, when things are picked up, the rules, the regs, et cetera, et cetera. So this resolution, which will be on every reorg going forward, is what's setting the standard. So if someone says, it doesn't say in your code, which it eventually will, this is one of the things we're fixing, that I cannot twine my newspaper, the code doesn't say that. Our answer is, well, the recycling flyer does, and that's the law based on the code. But again, there's some, maybe 3 or 4 little things like the twine example that I want to clean up. But everything else is in there as far as the size, the weight, and all that.
And when is all that taking effect? I see the red stickers. A lot of people call and ask me,
Yeah.
when is that taking effect? What's the concrete date and time?
The first pickup of March 2nd, I think it is.
And
March
they're just
2nd.
not going to pick it up if it's not in a 32-gallon can?
Correct.
If it's standing outside in a black bag, they're not picking it up?
Correct.
Couches, anything like that, they're not picking up
No,
anymore?
no. See, bulk items, we still will. This is for household garbage in a can or a bag. Now, the can issue is, the weight issue and injury issue. The bag issue, which I had an issue with, and Councilman D'Amato can defend me on this because I went back and forth with quite a few emails with our superintendent, is twofold. Mainly in the animals. When animals attack a bag, not a can, it makes a mess. Sadly, residents don't always clean it, right? And DPW should not have to be cleaning up that. Number 2, and more importantly, and this came right from the joint insurance one, is just like reaching into a can, there's the exposure of blood-borne pathogen issues, getting poked by a needle, getting poked by glass. So we're going to enforce these rules. If someone, from September to November, I think the stickers were kind of haphazard. January, February, 100% to almost the obnoxious point. So if someone
Yes,
says they
got
don't know
door
about it,
knockers, too.
excuse me?
They got door tags now, too.
Correct.
I see.
So if someone says they don't know about it, that's on the resident.
And they're just not going to pick it up.
Correct. Yeah. I mean, they've been warned plenty. And yeah, I feel your pain. I received over 311 phone calls on the issue. I think Al received about 200 himself.
The only issue I
Lot of
have
repeats.
with it, and I understand when you look in the pail, if it's a wide open plastic bag then it means they gotta pick it up and dump it. So if there's a plastic bag in there that's tied,
Right. They should not
or
reach
it's on
in.
this, or it should not be reaching to pick it up and dump it.
Correct.
If it's on the side of the road, bundled up and tied to the top, you pick it from the top and you put it in the
Again.
I
I'm-
just,
I
I
also
think,
read something, there's got to be a liner in the can, too?
No, even if it's in like a kitchen liner or like your Walmart bag and it's in there, that's considered a liner. So it doesn't
Okay,
have
so
to be
it's not a
lined.
liner inside
Correct.
the can and the garbage goes in
Correct.
that liner?
Correct. You just can't have loose banana peels and
Yeah,
solid
laying on
waste
top.
in the can lying there. I agree with you. I'm not gonna debate the issue anymore.
I know.
We're done.
I think JIF is overextending themselves because they're an insurance thing. They
But-
want to
but
say,
John-
I have no incidents. Part of your job, Mike worked in pipe fitting. He climbed ladders. I climb poles by electrical units. There's a lot more dangerous than that. I get all that it's dangerous. But it just makes no sense to me.
Again,
If you check your 360 and your safety, that's your safety thing. You make sure you're in a safer environment, you're doing it right. You're looking in the can, you're looking to see something, you pick it from the top, you put it in. If it's on the side of the road tied neatly, you pick it from the top, you put it in the garbage can.
All we need is one bloodborne pathogen claim and you would feel different.
And just
And
to
the
be,
JIF has had bloodborne pathogen claims from similar exposure, thus the recommendation.
and John, just to be clear, there is a change, right? For the last 20 years, we did it one way. Now we're making
The
a
irony is
change.
all these rules,
But all this change is because of the JIF requirements, right? Our insurance
there's some,
fund
correct.
is now saying, hey, you have to follow these rules, so therefore we have to do it.
Well,
right?
and the-
is that the story?
It's,
essentially?
yes, but we have to follow our own rules. Because all these rules we're talking about have always been on the books.
Correct, but we never
Garbage in a
did
can-
it, so
no, the
therefore
borough
it
never
was-
enforced it for 100 years.
The practice was that we
100%.
just did it, right?
Correct. So
We're
now,
not going to enforce it because of the JIF.
safety exposure.
Okay.
It's a recommendation, it's not, you
Correct.
have to.
It's a
They
recommendation.
can only recommend, they can't tell
Correct.
you what you have to do.
But I'm going to follow a recommendation from a safety issue without a doubt. I just need one guy getting pricked with a hypodermic needle that could have, worst case scenario, infected on it. I'm not taking that chance.
I agree with you, but John, this is where we need to discuss, and if it's an option, we need to be told it's an option, but here's why you support it, and then we pass it.
Well, no-
I agree with you,
Okay.
right, 100%.
No disrespect.
And my vote is yes.
Okay.
But I don't recall a discussion on this or a conversation.
No disrespect. In September, an email was sent to the governing body saying.
Email doesn't cut it. Let's
Okay,
discuss
okay.
it.
But no, we had discussions at the meetings too about it. So you guys, if you're going to hear about the garbage changes, this is what's going on. And this is not the first time we're talking about the safety issue. It's not, right? It's absolutely not.
Are we,
So, do you make it
I
sound like it's the
recall,
first time?
I recall the conversation around, there was
Back injury.
recycle bags in, instead of recycle, the people were putting their recycling bags. That I remember.
And we
The
talked about
garbage,
shoulder injury, back injuries, numerous
Or,
times.
or why we're making a change because of GIFs. I don't recall any of that.
Yeah, I'm not gonna argue with you, but I respectfully disagree with you, because we have.
Can a resident throw their garbage in the back of the truck?
No.
Pickup can?
Absolutely not.
Somebody asked me that too.
Yeah, no liability.
What's that, bring it to DPW?
No. If they
can
got an
walk
early
outside
route
and-
and somebody they come at 7 o'clock, I meet them out there with my 50-gallon can. Can I pick it up and dump it in the back of the truck?
No. No, you cannot.
Uh,
No, I just, he just said, sure you can.
No.
No, not you, yeah, right.
What is it?
I thought you said, sure you can. All right,
And recycling is the same thing.
correct, 32-gallon can, max weight 60 pounds.
How they weigh in the cans?
32-gallon cans, max capacity is 60 pounds. So if you stuff that bad boy full, it's 60 pounds. A 45-gallon can can be maxed up to 120 pounds. So sure, can a 60 be more? They're not weighing them, but we know 32 consistently is going to be in the 60-pound range.
Is there anything we can do for the recycling to be able to bring cans and stuff down to the dump area or no?
Oh, sure, you want to spend the money. There's no money in recycling. The only money we make on recycling is cardboard. So if we were to put a dumpster, a trailer, a big, whatever you want to call it, dumpster,
Yep.
it would cost, I think it's $1.75 every pull. It would be filled twice, 3 times a week.
But we got to take it anyway. We're paying it.
Well, right, our guys are taking it. They're going to still do that. You're not going to eliminate that.
Yeah.
So you're just going to add cost. So I
What
don't.
Mike's talking about, they go down in the garbage truck and here, can somebody come down like we do with the
No, you
leaves,
can't. But you
with
can't
the
put
batteries,
recycling in our garbage on Saturday because we need it for solid waste pickup on Monday. So the truck's got to remain empty. So you'd have to use a dumpster,
Yeah,
which
I
costs
understand that.
$1.75. Last time I checked, could be more now, to pull that dumpster.
And we changed it from 45 pounds to 60 pounds.
We changed it
It's
from
just
40.
that
The only
our
change
moves
we
don't
made.
make sense, John. I'm just pointing out the obvious.
Well-
We went from 45 pounds to 60 pounds,
Correct.
right? But then we're enforcing the size of the canister having to be lower. Just doesn't
Because-
make sense. If there was a bunch of screws in a 45-pound garbage can, you can't pick it up, right?
Well,
And if there was a feather in a 50-pound garbage can,
you're just making way too much out of this conversation.
I'm just saying, for 20 years we did it and there was no complaints.
The reason we increased the weight, and the governing body unanimously in 2018 voted on it. Okay, so
In 2018.
18,
Yeah.
the entire council voted on increasing the weight from 45 to
Right.
60. So no one questioned who, what, where, and why. So this issue's been on the table for 2 years, not just the last 3 weeks.
It's just that it's funny that Jif's
Now, the reason we increased the weight is because the 32, that's its max capacity. If you look at, I have the actual data that shows the determination that 60 pounds is the max capacity of 32
But
pounds.
Jif's recommendation is for injury, and it's the 60 pounds or the 45 pounds, not the size of the container. To me, at least that's what makes sense to me.
The recommendation is to enforce our existing rules, which is 32, 60,
They
bag
didn't
it.
write it that way, John.
Excuse me?
They didn't write it that way.
No, no.
That's
And if
the-
it said
that's what
32,
falls
45,
out.
they would say enforce your existing rules. Right.
45 and 20, what's that? One more time. Enforce 60 and 45?
Whatever our rules, right, they want us to enforce our rules. Our rules are
No. What's their recommendation? That
do
should
not
be
do
over
not pick
60?
up bags not in a can. Do not
Reach in.
reach in, and to enforce our existing ordinance, which is 3260. They didn't give a recommendation on weight.
How about size of the garbage?
No, but they just know on the 3 claims we had, one being a lost time claim, that it was a result of after they interview the employee, that it was these 50-gallon, 45-gallon cans. So the recommendation was enforce the 3260, and we should see a reduction in exposure and claims. And that's the way it should be.
If I could just add, Mayor, from the perspective of the JIF, they want this across the entire fund, because you pay if somebody out in Mount Olive has an injury. So, and the thing that you're very fortunate about is that with respect to qualifying for the JIF, because they vet all the members, and there's some neighboring communities they will not let in, but you do have your own sanitation services, and usually they're the towns that wind up outside the JIF, but your numbers are actually really good for having your own in-house. So if there are injuries, it's not going to be some outside sanitation firm. It is going to be, the liability or responsibility of the borough. So that's just why I think, it's just not just they're saying this, well, because it just reduces things or, it's a safe bet. But I think you're very fortunate and you've had really good results over the past 4 years that you qualify for the JIF versus towns that don't have the pickup. I think it was Roxbury Township had their own services like this, and they were told don't come back. They've tried to get back in twice, and they have not been back into the fund because of the number of claims that they've had, and it really relates back to this service. And you have a great track record considering what you're up against. Just to give you a little background to it.
Yeah.
When I became mayor, we were at the bottom of the barrel from a loss perspective, and instituting safety, instituting our quarterly safety meetings, the training monthly that each department has to do, job site inspections, et cetera, we have reduced our exposure greatly. I think in the 7 years that I've been doing this, we've had some lost time claims. In 2018, we had a garbage can one. In 2019, I'm proud to report we had 0 lost time claims. But we had, because we're a small population of staff, one claim throws your numbers. I look at the sheet. I'm always venting in our safety meeting that, we could have one claim, whether it's an officer hurts his leg or shoulder, or a DPW guy gets hurt. One claim based on 50 employees. It's based on lost time, number of days out of work, based on your average of all your staff. So when they take, a 200 lost time claim because the guy's been out for surgery, whatever, over 50 employees, it's a big number. When they take that same claim over a town that has 150 employees, their number is considerably less on their lost time ratio, right? So I got us up to out of 50 towns, I got us up to, we were top 10 best ratio. Now we're in the 20s because we have 2 or 3 in a 3-year window. Not big ones, but our ratio gets hit quick. And the ones we had were, substantial time off for shoulder surgery or whatever the case it may have been.
Is there a benefit to go to an outside service? A lot of our surrounding towns do that, right?
Well, again, that's something we bantered back and forth. First of all, the comment when I'm asked, because I hear it all the time, is Butler picks it up because, the town doesn't care what they pick up because it's not their workers' comp exposure. Again, that's a decision the governing body can make. We've had a discussion hundreds of times. My opinion, it's not. The administrators and mayors I've spoken to who got rid of the service regret getting rid of it from a service perspective. Your tipping fees are the same, right? The $500,000 we pay to bring our solid waste somewhere doesn't change. You're kind of, it's a very tight market where you don't get a lot of bids. So Kinnelon just went through and they bid. I think their last bid was almost $750,000 for the vendor to pick up garbage. The issue here is, what are you going to save other than maybe getting rid of 2 trucks? You still got to keep 2 for bulk items, but it's not like you can have a reduction in staff because the same guys that pick up our garbage plow our roads. So it's not like you can get rid of 6 staff members and think you're saving $600,000 because who's going to plow the roads?
And I think
Because all 14 guys are out plowing the roads.
it's also been beneficial all these years that the townsfolk know that they can call our DPW most of the time at any time, and they're very responsive for the most part.
I just think you're
And you're not going to get that with an outside
I think you're held
service.
hostage once you go that route because they could bid you anything and you're stuck with it. We can at least control our costs.
You really can't go back once you make
No.
the change, and that's the
That's
hard part.
And like I said, there's really no savings other than the vehicles.
I think you can get rid of people, I would think. And I'm sure people would think that too.
Well, again, you'd have to do that study.
You can go to an outside service to help plowing.
Again, conversations with the governing
Yeah.
body. It's your guys' job to bring policy, so if that's something you want to do, have that conversation, because I don't support it.
Is there an opportunity here just to communicate better? For example, everybody gets a yellow letter in the mail with all of the recycling and garbage pickup dates. I didn't know you couldn't recycle pizza boxes. I've been throwing pizza boxes away forever.
We all have.
Had no idea.
Because that's new.
Right. And most people probably don't look at that. Maybe they flip it over, they put the calendar on the inside of the cabinet door or down in the garage next to the refrigerator.
Correct.
And you look at it, this goes out today.
Correct.
We all would agree our DPW does great work, right? Maybe there's an opportunity to educate our community on the whys. Here's why we're doing it. It's not our rule, it's a rule enforced from above. And there's ramifications if we have an issue. Just explain it to them. they'll swallow it. They might not like it, but at least they understand why. Listen, I got that red sticker. What's this? Well, we were supposed to put these things out back in September. I'm like, listen, if that's the rule, I'll follow it. I threw my can away. I went to Lowe's. I got a 32-gallon can, and I moved on. But I just don't know if everybody truly understands why.
Again, I think because of the change, we've educated a lot of the town recently. Since, of course.
Under the gun,
yeah.
so to speak.
The flyer we mail out every year for the last, umpteen years. What else can you do? Another mailer? No one's going to read that either. Social media, we're all over that, but not everyone's on social media.
Well,
Website, I'm going to the senior advisory committee, their next meeting, to explain the changes there, at the request of Pat Yancey. So we try to do that, but I don't know what the answer is to your point, other than another mailer. You're going to spend $2,500 on to hope 30% of the town reads it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to use our reverse 911 for that. It's kind of hard to get that information across, and sadly, I think it's only 30% of our residents are even signed up for reverse 911. So I think it's on the onus is on residents to learn, and the flyer has everything on it. The pizza box example is new. It's on there now. It wasn't before, but it's on there now because the recycling companies are cracking down. There's an article on NJ.com right now about all the towns being cracked down on recycling by the companies because there's no market for it. In our lifetime, I don't know what's going to happen. There's going to come a time when we might not be recycling anymore because there's no place to bring it or put it.
John, one last question. The big garbage cans we have, are they garbage or recycling?
They're garbage. Put a note on it. Please take.
Please take, right? Because you can't use them.
Please take.
to
And the
Drew's
same thing in
point,
the bear-proof cans and stuff in the lake, that's all gonna be 32 gallons.
Correct.
No more, 'cause I saw that
Correct.
big ones in there, we were gonna pass.
Yeah.
to
Okay.
Drew's point, John, we could do a very short social media campaign on why. It wouldn't take long to do that and attach the new flyer. I will say, this is the first year that we had more people asking for that recycling flyer before it even came out. It was amazing.
Because of what's going on.
Yes, because of what's going on. But I'm just saying, we could do a quick one, and by the time it's shared between all the different pages that share our stuff on a regular basis,
Well, we have.
Maybe that will help a little bit.
If you go back on Bloomingdale Borough Facebook posts, we've done that. I've done exactly that. I've put on 3 different flyers on the Borough Facebook page that was shared on all our favorite other pages, as well as engaged no less than 100 times on these other pages answering questions. So I'll do whatever you'd like me to do, but I'd ask you to first go back on the Bloomingdale page and you'll see, not the yellow flyer, that plus others that I received from Pompton Lakes, the example they gave me, from the recycling company, Gata, they gave me. We put it all out there on our Facebook page. And it was shared, but people still complain. They're still complaining. But we'll get through it. Could have been worse. Anything else?
Should we go
Last-
back to
last
45
comment.
pounds?
Yeah, it's killing me.
That red sticker,
Yeah.
it says on there, our recycling tip is when in doubt, throw it out. Is that truly our recycling tip?
Yes, because that is the recycling company's tip.
What does it say?
When in doubt, throw it out.
Are we good?
Okay.
Are we good?
I don't think
You didn't pass it
You
yet.
didn't pass
all
it.
in favor?
We didn't
No,
discuss
that was
it.
I need
discussion.
a roll call, please.
Just real quick, I'm sorry. I know we spent a lot of time on that one. I just have a quick question on the next one, on F Resolution 2020 2.5, the amendment.
Yes, it's a simple amendment, no increased cost. There was Oprah, the request for Open Public Records Act, someone asked for a document, was in 2 places in Fred's contract, and none of us realized it, and Fred pointed it out to me. It was under the litigation,
General
services litigation. We took it out of general services, which is it's always under because of the work involved.
Right.
I mean, if there's a quickie reviewed, we're not getting slammed, but like we had one that could require, 10 hours of redaction on things, and that's a lot of Fred's time. So the amendment is simply removing it from the 2 places and leaving it in litigation.
In litigation, where it's been there.
Yes, that's how it's been charged in the past.
okay.
And we're capped on that charge too.
Okay, thank you.
There's no increased exposure. Anything else? Roll call quickly, please.
Tomato,
Yes.
Del Ripa. Yes. Hudson,
yes.
Julian,
Yes.
Sandemeyer,
Yes.
Yazdi,
Yes.
Okay. Pending items. The first item is a motion to repeal the introduction of ordinance 5/2020. This is the one about we're going to keep the code as it was, where you could have one vehicle. less than 12,000 pounds, but this was the one we had thinking about the bucket truck. Less than 12 had to be in a garage, so we're not doing that. The ordinance is staying as it's been. So who makes that motion?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
I'm afraid to ask. Any discussion? I'm teasing. Roll call, please. I'm sorry. All in favor?
Aye.
Item B, I need a motion for 2020 1.6, appointment of our qualified purchasing agent. Who makes that motion, please?
So moved.
Any discussion? Roll call, please. With money.
Del Ripa,
Yes.
Hudson,
Yes.
Julian,
Yes.
Sondemire,
Yes.
Yazdi,
Yes.
D'Amato,
Yes.
Item C, motion for 2020 1.65, increasing our bid threshold to 40,000, and that's as a result of having a QPA. Who makes that motion, please?
So moved.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
It's
not an
always been
increase.
40. That's what throws everybody off.
If you don't have a QPA, it's 17.5. It's 40. It's an increase because since January 1st, we have not had a QPA. So technically, it's an increase from 17.5 to 40. It's not an increase over last year,
No. It's not.
because it's been 40.
No,
I mean, 2 years ago, it may have been 39.5 or 37, whatever the state has it at. It's a state rule.
Rich has a question.
Yes, sir, I'm sorry.
I was just confused because these are actually the resolution numbers from the original in last.
That's a Bree question.
It's just how I number, you've been tabled them, been
Right.
tabling.
All right.
So it's the same one that's been on since we
Right, I
are.
figured it out after I got it.
Got it.
It's just how I number.
Thank you. So item
It's
D.
still all the same, and I'll leave the same number.
Item D.
We
Are
need
we
a,
good? I'm sorry.
we're all in favor.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Actually, before we move on that one, I need to go back to
You just
B
had a vote on it.
and recuse myself from that one.
Oh, okay.
And then recuse myself from this.
So duly
C
noted.
as well.
All right, so just amend the record
Thank you.
on those two resolutions, please.
So then we should do a roll call for the second one.
Then I'll have a roll call, please, for item C, the threshold.
Hudson,
Yes.
Julian,
Yes.
Sondemire,
Yes.
Yazdi,
Abstain.
D'Amato,
Yes.
Del Ripa,
Yes.
Okay, item D, second and final reading and public hearing. Ordinance 2 to 2020, amending Chapter 11 rental dwelling units. Public notice statement, please.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, this ordinance was posted in the municipal building, published in the Herald News, and copies were made available to the public so that a motion may be made that it be read by title.
And who makes a motion to read that ordinance by title?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
An ordinance of the Borough of Bloomingdale, County of Passaic, State of New Jersey, amending Chapter 11, Building and Housing, Section 11-6, Rental Dwelling Units of the Code of the Borough of Bloomingdale.
Thank you. I need a motion to open public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone wishing to speak to 2/2020? So you know, on motion to close.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And who moves to adopt?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? This is simply increasing the inspection fee, and now we're enforcing this. Ordinance has been on the books since 2011. Roll call, please.
Julian,
Yes.
Sondemire,
Yes.
Yazdi,
Yes.
D'Amato,
Yes.
Del Ripa,
Yes.
Hudson,
Yes.
Item E, second final reading, 3/2020, amending Chapter 5, Farm Animals. Public notice, public notice statement, please.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, this ordinance was posted in the municipal building, published in the Herald News, and copies were made available to the public so that a motion may be made that it be read by title.
And who makes that motion, please?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
An ordinance of the Borough of Bloomingdale, County of Passaic, State of New Jersey, amending Chapter 5, Animal Control of the Code of the Borough of Bloomingdale.
Need a motion to open public hearing.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone wishing to speak to 3/2020? Seeing no one, motion to close public hearing.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Who moves to adopt?
So moved.
Second.
Say that. Moves to adopt. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Sondemire,
Yes.
Yazdi,
Yes.
D'Amato,
Yes.
Del Ripa,
Yes.
Hudson,
Yes.
Julian,
Yes.
Thank you. Item F, second final reading, public hearing on ordinance 4/2020, amending Chapter 15, Property Maintenance Requirement. Public notice statement, please.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, this ordinance was posted in the municipal building and published in the Herald News. Copies were made available to the public so that a motion may be made that it be read by title.
And who makes that motion, please?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Oh, sorry. An ordinance of the Borough of Bloomingdale, County of Passaic, State of New Jersey, amending Chapter 15, Property Maintenance, Section 15-3, Regulations and Requirements of the Code of the Borough of Bloomingdale.
Thank you. Need a motion to open public hearing.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone wishing to speak to 4/20/20?
Can I speak during public?
No, I went discussion before adoption.
Okay.
You're not the public, unless you want to be. No. I'm sorry. So, seeing no one, motion to close. Did I do that part yet?
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Now, who moves to adopt?
So moved.
Discussion. You're
Quick
on.
question. Property maintenance, we're talking about commercial and private
Yes,
homes?
100%.
And the normal lawn and shrubberies and leaves and all of that, correct?
Correct.
Okay, can we also discuss the car lots along Hamburg Turnpike from Borough Hall to the bifurcation
It's
on
in-
Glenwell?
It's entirely currently under investigation.
Is that also included in property maintenance, or is
No.
it separate, Joe?
It's separate.
Okay.
It's, well, I mean, if they're keeping a blighted area, that's property maintenance.
I'm more
The-
talking about the cars,
Yeah,
the
well,
way that
yeah,
they shuffled
yeah, well,
around.
okay. That is being handled currently by property maintenance, construction code official, and the
Okay.
police department, along with the county assistants. So there's a whole look-see going on there now.
Good.
Matter of fact, I just emailed Fred's office. That's one example. Here's the problem. When you have pre-existing conditions, now in that case, they've added new conditions, right? So, long story short, for them to move to the next building, they really need site plan approval. So eventually, they're gonna have to come to the planning board, and that's where you can limit them to 10 cars max. Here's where you can keep them, here's where your garbage can's gotta go, and all that stuff. The problem is, what's pre-existing, like Happy's Garage and Thrifty's Auto, and things that were done pre-zoning, pre-rules, right? I emailed Fred's office and said, Fred, they drive me crazy, what can we do about it? Because you would hope there's a resolution that says Joe's Auto Garage can only have 5 cars. So when he has 30, you can say, hey, here's the approval, you can only have 5 cars. When they're pre-zoning, like a lot of our conditions are, you're kind of, out of luck with enforcing, except property maintenance issues like public health and safety, blighted conditions. So on that issue that you raised, we're all aware of it. The police department is very aware of it. I do get a lot of phone calls on it from residents, and it's being looked at.
Okay.
And I'm confident in the next 4 to 6 weeks, we'll see a resolution.
Thank you.
John?
You're in the discussion part of ordinance 4/2020, yes.
Yes, just a note about property maintenance. The sheriff's department still has our old property maintenance contact on their information.
The sheriff's department,
Sheriff's department.
on their what?
They still have Bob Westdyke listed.
On what, though?
The information that comes out, so when they do, say, a sheriff's sale, it very clearly states at the bottom
Okay.
about property maintenance, and Bob is still
Okay.
listed.
Do you want to make note of that? I don't know what the document they're getting that from, because everything on our end is updated, but I'll thank you, Dawn. We will fix that. For certain. Any other comment? Roll call, please.
Yazdi,
Yes.
D'Amato,
Yes.
Del Ripa,
Yes.
Hudson,
Yes.
Julian,
Yes.
Sondemire.
Yes.
Item G, second final reading, 6/2020, Chapter 30, Flood Damage Prevention. Public notice statement, please.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, this ordinance was posted in the municipal building, published in the Herald News. Copies were made available to the public so that a motion may be made that it be read by
And who
title.
makes that motion, please?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
The Flood Damage Prevention Ordinance.
Whew, that's that really long title I like. Motion to open public hearing.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
See, anyone wishing to speak to 6/2020? Seeing no, motion to close public.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Who moves to adopt?
Second.
Any discussion? Again, another unfunded mandate required by FEMA, strengthening ordinances. Actually, we had an ordinance, we're repealing that later, right?
No, we're good. We're good.
Okay, but there's a lot of rules in place FEMA wants because of their new mapping that is to be soon adopted, I believe, in April. So, we're,
It's a total wipeout of our code, right?
excuse me?
Total wipeout
Yeah,
of
yeah,
our
yeah.
chapter 30 is gone and just replaces
It's
it.
a total replacement. But it was very similar. Tom just thought of a repeal, because this is specifically what FEMA approved. We had to send it to them before it was on our agenda. So roll call, please.
Tomato?
Yes.
Del Ripa?
Yes.
Hudson?
Yes.
Julian?
Yes.
Sondemire?
Yes.
Yazdi?
Yes.
Item H, second final reading, public hearing, 8/2020, capital surplus, purchase of 3 vehicles. Public notice statement, please.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, this ordinance was posted in the municipal building, published in the Herald News. Copies were made available to the public so that a motion may be made that it be read by title.
Who makes that motion, please?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye. Ordinance appropriating $90,000 available from the General Capital Surplus Fund to provide for the vehicle purchases for the Construction Department and Animal Control Officer described herein and by the Borough of Bloomingdale, County of Passaic, State of New Jersey.
Thank you. A motion to open public hearing.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone wishing to speak to 8/2020? Seeing no one, motion to close public hearing.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Who moves to adopt?
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Del Ripa?
Yes.
Hudson?
Yes.
Julian?
Yes.
Sondemire?
Yes.
Yazdi?
Yes.
Tomato?
Yes.
New business, item A, introduction by title ordinance 9/2020, policy procedures, second and final reading on the 18th. First, who makes that motion?
Second.
This is introduced by title. All in favor?
Aye.
An ordinance of the Borough of Bloomingdale, County of Passaic, State of New Jersey, amending Chapter 9, Personnel Policies, Section 1.6, Health Insurance Benefits, Sick Time, and Vacation Time for certain appointed positions.
And again, I want to just make a statement real quickly, and if you have questions between now and adoption, please let me know prior to the meeting. For those who were keeping score back in 2011, you know that we had our non-contractual employee department heads all had contracts. And those contracts were all voided by the governing body at the time because they are at-will employees, and you really shouldn't be given contracts as such, except the tenured staff. The tenured staff weren't able to maintain their contracts. So at the time, there was really no mechanism to ensure, protect those staff members on their benefits. I mean, granted, we have the policy handbook, okay, but at the time, because it was kind of crazy at the time for those who remember, to calm the employees who were quite upset about losing that without what they felt protection, and the governing body, which ended up legally having the stronger sentiment on that they were not legally enforceable, we did this ordinance defining department heads, non-contractual. So we're simply saying they get their health insurance, they get all these things as it says in the policy manual. Now, obviously that can be changed, anything can be changed, but just gives them some memorialization of where the benefits are coming from. Prepping to negotiate the white collar contract, it dawned on me, initially I thought we tied the benefits to the white collar, because I think we did, the very first time we did this. And then, so I pulled all this stuff, and then I said, oh no, we amended that, not to tie it to white collar. In other words, I thought it said those employees get whatever the white collar gets for health, sick time, blah, blah. We didn't. We did this ordinance saying it goes to the handbook. So in that discussion, having Bree pull stuff for me, we realized there was things in here that should be now. For example, the clerk wasn't, because our prior clerk had tenure. So she wasn't listed in here. So now we add the clerk. My position wasn't existing, so now we add full-time mayor. The treasurer's in here, but the treasurer now has tenure, but we're not removing, we're just saying any employee with tenure, that trumps, the rule. Although she has tenure, she doesn't have a contract. I don't think, well, again, Bree sent a nice memo to everybody.
Construction official.
Construction official was never in there because our previous one had tenure. The new one doesn't.
Assistant to the CFO.
Assistant to the CFO is a new position. Tax collector, court administrator, these were not in there. And sewer and water superintendent is no longer a position. So that's been removed. And now it's assistant DPW superintendent. So we're just cleaning up. I just want to, I'm talking too much on title and introduction by title, but I want you to know where this is coming from. Thank you. Second and final on the 18th. Item B, introduction bond ordinance 10/2020, amend bond ordinance 11/2019, funding for Boston Street. Who makes the motion introduced by title?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Second and final reading has to be the 18th because of DOT requires 21st.
John, we're not going off of our surplus, or capital
No,
surplus?
no, this we're
Because-
amending. It's just, I don't want to keep tapping that.
How much do we have in there?
300-ish.
Is 120 coming out?
It's just, I don't want to do it.
Well, it's more debt.
But we're hoping we can cancel after we do this thing. This is just to really award it. I can't have certified funds without having the money in place, so.
I know, but you can rock and roll on that project without having to.
I still got to do an ordinance. I still have to do an ordinance for capital. Like we did on the truck, the vehicles, same
No,
thing.
not if you have it in your surplus.
You still have to do an ordinance, just like we did in the vehicles. We just adopted the vehicle ordinance tonight. So I'd have to introduce capital surplus ordinance tonight and adopt on the 18th. But I don't want to tap that. We're getting low, that fund. Let's keep it. That's stronger when, your furnace goes, and thank God we had that there last year for the 40 grand when the furnace crapped out. We're getting a little low there. I'd rather, hope some other deals come through and replenish the reserve, and then this conversation would be different. I'm sorry, where were we? We're good?
Recycle.
Did you do an all in favor? I'm sorry.
All in favor?
All in favor?
You did it, yeah. Sorry.
Bond ordinance amending and supplementing Section 3A of Bond Ordinance Number 11-2019, finally adopted by the Borough Council of the Borough of Bloomingdale, County of Passaic, State of New Jersey on May 7th, 2019, to increase the total appropriation referred to in Section 3A from $541,500 to $661,500, and to increase the total debt authorization referred to in Section 3A from $541,500 to $661,500, and to amend and supplement other provisions therein.
Don't like the flood one much better. Thank you. Item C, introduction by title. Ordinance 11-2020, Capital Main Street Booster Station, second and final the 18th. Just so no one's confused, this is not borrowing, this is not new debt. If you recall, 2000-ish, when we knew we had to do the booster station because Sloan Park Interconnect wasn't going to work for us, we developed an agreement, the council supported 6-0, that the borough is going to be responsible to bid and get this booster station installed, but our max exposure is $250,000. Butler would pay up to $100,000 after that, and they would then, if it's anything over $250 on us, $100 on Butler, we would split that cost. The bid was $319. We're on $250. It's already funded. It was funded in last year's capital utility. This ordinance is just giving us a mechanism to receive Butler's $69,000. Okay. The other benefit is in that agreement, I also negotiated, which we all supported, that Butler will forevermore maintain this station and pay its electric cost, resulting in that $245,000 utility savings that I showed you via email that I hope will begin in July as latest as an install. So that's what this is. It's not new borrowing. It's just a mechanism for Butler to get their money to us. So can I have a motion, please, for introduction by title? I need a second, please.
Second?
And again, this is by title. All in favor?
Aye.
Second and final also on the 18th, please.
An ordinance appropriating $100,000 available from the Borough of Butler as a contribution in aid of construction for the Main Street Booster Project described herein and by the Borough of Bloomingdale, County of Passaic, State of New Jersey.
Thank you. Item D, introduction by title. Second and final, not till the end of March, because this is zoning, needs to go to the planning board. We'll say March, we can go in, that might be cutting it close too. Let's go into April 7th. So we know they have enough time. I'm sorry, 1220, amending Chapter 92 zoning, lakefront properties. Again, second and final, April 7th. Who makes the motion introduced by title?
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. This is just to clean up house to help the lake communities have smaller lots, awkward lots, just to alleviate some of the needs, which are usually 100% of the time, for variances. And for the record, no, I do not have an application in front of the planning. Nor does Rich. Okay, thank you.
An ordinance of the Borough of Bloomingdale, County of Passaic, State of New Jersey, amending Chapter 92 zoning, Article 4, supplementary lot height and yard regulations, Section 92-14, yards, and Chapter 92 zoning, Article 11, definitions of the Code of the Borough of Bloomingdale.
Thank you. We have two non-agenda items. I need a motion for Resolution 2022 point, what do we got there? 2.7, appointment of Marco Iglesia to the Board of Health. Who makes that motion?
So moved.
And just simply thank you, Marco. He's a personal trainer. He's running our boot camp programs for our residents through the rec program and senior programs. He's doing a great job for the borough. So great asset to the Board of Health. And thank you, Dawn, for making that happen. All in favor?
Aye.
Item 2, I need a motion to accept resignation of Ian Hogan from DPW effective 2/13 and authorization for me to advertise and begin the interview process for his replacement. Who makes that motion?
So moved.
Roll call. I'm sorry, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Need a motion for late public comment?
So moved.
I get Dawn and I think John Demano on that one. All in favor?
Aye.
Any motion to speak to anything their little heart desires? See no one, motion to close.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
We do have an executive session. One matter of negotiation and one personnel matter. If any action is to be taken after executive session, the public would have opportunity to comment. Please note the governing body schedule, 2/18, March 3, March 17th. And this time I need a motion to go into executive session.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
We enter exec at 7:55.
So for the record, Mayor, we have